Chapter 17. Just Be. Psalm 46, verse 10 states, "Be still and know that I am God." God was speaking to me, showing me what my life had been like during the previous months. He used an analogy from a scene from an action movie, like when the heroine gets shot and you think that's the end of her, but she keeps going and fighting back at the wicked enemy. This leads to another blow by the enemy, and again, you think the heroine is done. But nope, she gets back up and strikes the enemy with a fatal blow. The heroine wins. I am the heroine in this scene who had been in intense battles for many months. My pastor saw me in this weary and wounded state and said, "You look like you're going to crash." She said that she saw in the spirit that I had arrows that were sticking out of my body. She prayed that God would pull out each one and bring healing to the wounds they left behind. She then advised me to go away someplace and rest. She told me to leave my phone and computer at home, to just sit and be still in the presence of the Lord. I listened to the advice of my pastor, and off I went to a retreat house not too far from home to spend the weekend alone with my Lord and Healer. While there, I made a conscious effort to bring before God every wound I was conscious of, such as the death of my beloved cat and the death of the baby in Maine. God named her Sally, which means princess or woman of high rank. Also the betrayal of a loved one and other disappointments and heartbreaks. Regarding the babies that were sacrificed, God gave me the names of each one. Starting with Sally, I chose to do something positive to help me deal with my grief and to remember the babies by. I bought an angel ornament for each baby with their names inscribed on the back, and I hang them on my Christmas tree each year. To remember my cat Coco, I bought a small ornamental bush and planted it in my yard. There was another time in which I led and completed a 5-week prayer assignment for my nation. I knew that God got the victory at its completion. Hallelujah! But then came the spirit of backlash. I sensed that the enemy was very angry at me, and I knew that he was coming at me with full force. God led me to the story of Elijah, of the time when he defeated Queen Jezebel's 450 prophets of Baal. Because of this, Jezebel retaliated by vowing to kill Elijah. Elijah got the victory, but after the battle, he found himself discouraged because of Jezebel's threat and because he was physically and emotionally exhausted. The account tells us that Elijah chose to lay down and rest by a river, and it was there that God ministered to him. In 1 Kings we read, quote, "Then he lay down and slept under the broom tree. But as he was sleeping, an angel touched him and told him, 'Get up and eat.' So he ate and drank and lay down again." End quote. This happened a second time. It was important for Elijah to rest and be ministered to by the Lord because he was not finished using Elijah for his purposes. Once God gave Elijah rest and strengthened him, he gave him 3 more assignments to accomplish. I am grateful to God for giving me this lesson through his word about the need to rest and let him minister to me. During my retreat weekend away with God, I heard him say to me, "Just be." My response was, "What does that mean? What does it look like in the natural?" It means not behaving as Holly the wife, Holly the mom, Holly the daughter, Holly the ministry leader, or Holly the intercessor? I asked God, Lord, do you mean I will still be pleasing to you even if I'm not doing anything for you or for the furtherance of your kingdom? Then my mind went to the words that Jesus spoke to Martha when she complained that Mary wasn't doing anything except sitting at Jesus' feet. Quote, "Only one thing is necessary, for Mary has chosen the good part." End quote. This is a difficult thing to do if one finds their self-worth in the things that he or she does. To just be is an especially difficult concept for an intercessor, because that means not to pray for anyone or anything. We intercessors pray for spouses, children, extended family members, church families, cities, states, nations, and the list goes on. Sometimes I feel that I fight and I fight and I fight, and it's like I'm a war machine. It's at times like this, when I actually stop to be still in God's presence, that I hear him whisper, "Holly, lay your weapons down. Come and sit with me." There will always be a need for prayer. The needs and the requests from others for prayer is unceasing. But the good part, the better part, is to sit at Jesus' feet or Daddy God's feet. This is also a place where I get to minister to God. What an unfamiliar concept. Often, the Christ follower strives to minister to lost souls, or strives to minister by preaching to a large church body. We strive to minister to new believers, or we strive to minister to the world through online platforms. I wonder how many Christ followers there are that strive to minister to God's heart. Many intercessors feel that they have to answer every request and accept every invitation to prayer gatherings. They tend to feel that they would be failing God and others, or they feel that they are not doing the Christian thing if they don't fulfill every request and invitation. This mindset leads to burnout, and it is exactly where Satan wants us, because then we aren't as efficient. I know of some intercessors who dropped out or away from their calling because they got burned out. They turned in their weapons of war for an easier lifestyle. That's one less soldier in God's army. Satan celebrates. Every once in a while, I set aside a day, and I am determined to not say a single prayer for the entire day. I challenge my fellow intercessors to try this. I admit that I've never been 100% successful. Even so, I get so much out of it when I do this. It is not a bad or sinful thing to not pray or talk to God, just as it is not sinful when you sit with a spouse or close friend and neither one of you speaks. Being quiet and content in one another's company is a good thing. It is the same with our Daddy God. When I take a day to not pray, I often find myself starting to pray, and then I stop myself. I am not absent from God when I don't speak. I am present with him in my heart, and he with me. It is a good thing for me to not take up my weapons of war, because it forces me to not find my value in what I do or in my gifts. To just be helps me to remember that my value is in being me, and not in what I do for God or for others. In the times when I hear my Daddy God tell me to just be still and don't do, I obey. When I spend time with him, I might read the Word, worship him in song, dance to Spirit-filled music, write him a poem, or simply say or do nothing. I just listen. And every so often I hear him say to me, "Thank you for ministering to my heart." When I hear those words, it just melts my heart. Tears pour down my face. He is letting me know that he appreciates me. He values my full attention, my time, my energy, my out-of-tune singing, and my ungraceful dancing. He appreciates it all.